Here Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Definitely the most dominating coverage around this good city, and that city is Detroit, and we are Woodward Sports Network 2.0. I'm Braylon Edwards, and this is the Braylon Edwards Show 2.0 with my host, Anson Wells. Anson, how you feeling over there today?
Great, man. Honestly, yesterday was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Coming off of an awesome holiday weekend, and we got Fresh Nation back in the house today.
Had a great time with First Nation last Thursday. We will get two of their group up here to talk a little bit more about what First Nation does and their excitement for the project. Now, we're going to squeeze a lot into these 10 minutes. All right, we got the whole gang back, so let's go around the room. B-Lad is back in the building. Sweet Potato Cam is back in the building. And Justin Satawa is back in the building. Ladies and gentlemen,
let's go.
We're 5 fingers like the Infinity Stones. How you feeling out there, man?
What's up?
What's the word?
We are good. Really good, refreshed. I think Argentina just had 3 unanswered goals, beat Egypt.
Crazy. We'll talk about what was USA last night. Not necessarily the best showing, but want to ask you, how do you feel about the overall performance that was Team USA during this World Cup? Argentina cooking with Greece. Looks like they will advance, but still time going on right now. But before we get around, man. You feeling good today? Locked and loaded?
Really, really ready.
Feeling good? More Pistons conversation?
I've been wanting the 5 of us together.
Well, here we are.
So many things all over the place. We've been everywhere. People taking some time for the holiday. I'm ready to have the 5 together.
All right, here we go. Speaking of taking some time, this weekend passed. Everybody was out doing their own thing. Some people were down in Georgia and went to other places. Some people were at concerts, if you will. I went to that Usher and Chris Brown concert last Thursday. Didn't get a chance to talk about it. Fun. A lot of fun. Shout out to Calvin Johnson, man. Appreciate him having me and my girl Britt. We had an amazing time. Usher did his thing. Chris Brown did his thing. Chris brings out the dancers, if you know what I mean.
And you know what? Braylon texted me that night.
Yeah, I did. I told you who was going to be the headliner that night.
All right. So now this morning,
yeah,
I had to pick my mother up. God bless her.
Shout out to
I took
moms.
her to, unfortunately, a funeral of a friend of hers. And we were in the car, and she says, "Now who's Chris Brown?" And I was like, I can't believe you just asked me. She didn't. I didn't prompt this at all.
Right.
But we remember we were going to call her during the show.
And I said that she would know who Chris Brown was.
You know what she said?
What she said?
She goes, "I know who that Usher guy is." 77.
Super
I know
Bowl,
who that
man.
Usher guy is,
Yeah.
but who's Chris Brown? Was that Whitney Houston's husband? Wrong Brown. That was Bobby Brown.
At least you got Brown right.
She was close, but I told you,
Yeah.
Usher is in. He's just the more regular name in the households that aren't in the know.
Yeah, this is true. I would agree with you 100%. And like we said last week, once you do a Super Bowl, you go to a different level of stardom. And I think when Usher did that Super Bowl,
sir.
now you're entering different homes, you're entering different genres of individuals. So shout out to Usher and Chris Brown. They put on a hell of a show. The people that went over the weekend, they said the same thing. Dance moves were on point. The people in the city of Detroit, it was on point, man. It was good to see. Had a lot of fun.
We didn't mention Bobby Brown in your top 5.
Bobby Brown's an elite dancer, but not on the level of them.
Okay.
Like if you're talking about more of the hip hop scene, the urban, like that, man, Bobby Brown, he's the king R&B, like the original before. He who will not be named, at least for this segment. Sweet Potato Cam, man, how was your weekend?
Weekend was really nice.
Okay.
Hung out with my good friend, shout out Skills and his fam. Did country living, really glamping, boating, fishing.
Now you don't strike me as
Oh
the
my-
glamping. I'm glamping. Like I'm
Yes.
not getting in no tent. I'm not laying on the ground. I'm not staying overnight. I'm not going in the woods to do my business. Like I'm the glamper. You glamping? Nah.
See, he's earthy, but he's city earthy.
Okay, I can get with that.
That's a fact.
I can get with that.
That is a fact. No,
Like
I mean,
likes building and the outdoors.
yes. I live in the city, but I got a little country in me.
Yes, sir.
Nothing wrong with that. I see B-Lad and Justin Satawa figuring it out over there. B-Lad, jump in on this, man. You
B-Lad was balling this week.
Thank God for Millionaire Friends, as I was
Right?
told before the show started. Talk to us a little bit about your weekend that was. You started off in one spot,
Yep.
drove to another spot, and ended up in another city.
Went to visit some family, and then I took a quick side quest down to my roots down south in Tampa Bay, Florida. Got to spend the 4th of July with a bunch of my friends at a $20 million marble mansion in the Bay,
Ooh,
which I was not
hey,
expecting
yeah.
in the slightest bit. And, yeah, had a lot of fun, met some cool people, got to shake the house owner's hand, which I like to leave good first impressions when it comes to stuff like that. And, yeah, no, I had a great time.
I want to see the house.
Yeah, it is in there.
Yeah,
we want Justin to – yeah, there it is.
Lot of marble. Big old pool. Look at that place.
I was not expecting that. I didn't belong there, to say the least. We were driving through this neighborhood, and I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And apparently, the neighbor of that house used to be not only Tampa Bay's finest, Chris Godwin, actually.
Ooh,
but I don't
shout
think he
out to
lives
wide
there
receiver.
anymore. But that's what everyone was saying. So I didn't know, but yeah, pretty cool.
You still been getting your work on in the gym, man? Cause I got another video that I sent to the Slack. You know what I'm saying?
I never miss a day.
I was feeling good today. I said, you know what? I took 225 for a ride 10 times. I took 275 for a ride. I said, why not just do 315 and see what the old man can do? So, hell of a long time with the warm up process, but 315. Just old man swag, nice and easy. Just nice and easy. Just
No
push it up.
one
Just
in the
nice and
history
easy.
of man
Just
has,
nice and easy.
has been better at the humble brag.
Just the easy swag. You know what I'm saying? Just getting into it.
He
Gotta
started,
stay with it.
just 220, but then I was like, 275, but, forget that. Let's go 315.
You know what happens, man, is I don't go heavy anymore. I'm like 185. I don't ever go heavy anymore, and I took a week off of working out. Like my body said, just shut it down. I shut down, no golfing, no working out, and today, body felt different.
Refresh.
Body felt different. It was like
Sometimes you need those recovery days.
it's like it was like, hey man, just go ahead and slap a couple more plates on there. Don't worry, we got you. We'll take care of you. Speaking of taking care of you, and speaking of we got you, First Nation Media was in here last week, man, and they did an outstanding job. The two individuals that we interviewed that week, they were on point and they were on par and showing what the future could be through their eyes. Well, we want to keep that thing going. Shout out to Terry Foster, man, for making this thing
Legend.
happen. We have two new members from First Nation Media. I want you guys to come up right now. I want to get some questions from you and see how your experience is going. And you better have a question.
That's
you better
right.
have a question when you come up here. Anson, introduce, if you will.
That's right. From Fresh Nation, our second
Elena and
time with
Julian.
them. That's right.
There we
Julian
go.
and Elena. And
What's up, sir?
tell us a little
How you
bit.
doing?
Yeah,
Good to
tell
see-
us a little.
Oh, you gotta make the eye contact. There we go. How you doing, Lena? There you go.
So tell us a little more about what Fresh Nation has meant to you.
All right, so Fresh Nation is like basically like you could like go around and you could like learn about like and you could go more into depth about like news and media and stuff, like what goes on behind the scenes and stuff. And you can learn about the news equipment.
Let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you a question based on that. What about the news and media interests you? Because there's so much that you can do in this space. But what particularly interests you?
What interests me is that it's like a platform so you could inform people about like information and stuff and things that's going on in the community, and like you could bring awareness to situations.
That's a heck of
your
an answer
voice.
right there.
Speak your
100%.
voice.
Yeah, speaking your voice. Elena, how have you liked the experience so far working with First Nation?
I like it because I like asking people questions, and
Okay.
like I just like getting to know people better.
Well, cue it up then.
There it is.
Fire one away at
That
him.
was your window.
Okay, question I have for you is, what was your biggest inspiration to becoming the person you are today?
Ooh.
I know the answer to that one. I think.
Shout out to God Almighty, man. I appreciate that question. For me, it was my parents, my upbringing. My parents poured a lot into me. I'm blessed to have two fathers, blessed to have two mothers, and just what they instilled in me at an early age is just be kind, give back, and giving back doesn't mean money. A lot of people get it misconstrued, like you have to have money to give back. Just give time. So for me, my mom, my father, my stepmom, my stepfather, they helped shape me into being, this. And the University of Michigan, go blue.
Go green, baby. Go green.
All right.
So my question for you is like what did it take for you to become like who you are today? Like I understand that it would take like a lot of discipline and motivation and stuff. But, like just for you, like how did that happen for you?
That's a really good question. In terms of how did this happen for me and what did it take? Sacrifice. And what I mean by sacrifice is at an early age. How old are you?
12.
Okay, I see. And you are 12 and 14. There's going to be a lot of people around you that aren't going to be on the same mission that you're going to be on. There are going to be a lot of people that don't want to do the same things that you guys want to do. You have to stay away from those individuals and sacrifice to be able to chart this path. You got to keep going, keep moving forward, and understand, hey, I chose media. I like media. Let me just keep rocking this thing and keep going forward and see what it is. Sacrifice. There'll be parties that you can't go to. There'll be, things that you shouldn't be engaged in, you shouldn't do that you won't be able to do. But the payoff is rewarding. So I didn't do all that in high school, and I kind of charted this path. My parents kept pushing me, and I kept following. I was missing those parties. I was missing the hanging out. I was missing drinking and smoking and doing all those things in high school that people think are cool and this, that, and the third. Got to college because I ignored all those people, and I got to Michigan. Once I got to Michigan, I had to ignore those people again to be able to get to the next level. So at the end of the day, just make sacrifice for the things you want. If you want it, go get it and sacrifice for it.
All right, I got another question.
Go ahead.
Like, what did it, like, for you to, like, shape your own path and, like, stand out from the crowd, like, what did I take?
For me to shape my own path and stand out from the crowd, what did it take? I think for me, it was just be authentic. Like, be authentic into who you are. A lot of times we get roped into groups, and in that group, you may try to feed off the energy of somebody else and try to become that other person's personality. Now you're trying to build your career based off them, or do things that your parents tell you to do. You want to do the right things that your parents tell you to do, but you don't want to live their dream. Like, you don't want to live your parents' dream. You want to live your own dream. What's your dream?
My dream is to, like, become either a media person or, like, a football player.
So who you are right now, you keep building on that, and you keep following that path. But that's your dream, and that's the dream you want. What do you want to be?
I want to be an actress, so I want to make my family proud.
See, and I love that. If you want to be an actress, then you hit that pavement and you keep working hard. Don't make somebody tell you got to be a doctor.
And your family's, you're doing a heck of a job.
You're doing a heck of a job right now. Don't make somebody tell you you have to do this, or you follow somebody. What you want to do that and be authentic in it. I think that's what helped me shape me. That's what helped shape Anson, because you're definitely unapologetically yourself.
Authenticity, in my opinion, is the most important thing in a time where everyone wants you to think and speak a certain way. Your authenticity will take you the furthest. Yeah. So don't ever give up on that.
One more question for you, Elena.
Was there something that slowed you down on your path to becoming who you are?
You guys are asking the tough questions. Man, they put the spot on. I appreciate that question. Yes, and that thing was me. Along the way, there were some things and some decisions that I made that I knew weren't right, that I knew I shouldn't be doing. However, I made those decisions, and I had to pay the cost. And one of those things, if I'm being honest and being frank with you guys, is I got a DUI when I was playing in the NFL. And there was no reason for me to drive under the circumstances. But I said, you know what, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to just forego what I know I should not be doing. That set me back. When you do things that you know you shouldn't be doing, typically you're going to have to pay a cost. And for me, I had to pay a cost and I had to start the journey over in a sense. So I was my own worst enemy at times. Don't be your own worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? The things that, I probably, you get that voice. We all get that little voice that sits on your shoulder where it's like, I don't know if you should be doing that. And sometimes we say, nah, get out of here. Listen to him.
You talked about sacrifice.
Yeah.
When you sacrifice to do the right things, you get to choose what you're sacrificing. When you make the wrong decisions, you're going to sacrifice again, but it won't be what you choose. Yeah. It will be something that's taken away from you. So make sure that you're very honest with yourselves when you have those decisions in front of you. Think about what your passion is and what your goal is, and let that make the decision.
I wish Team USA goal last night was to score more points, but that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that in a second. Last thing from us, because we don't be too boring stiffs, man. I'm like, man, we saw these guys, but they were boring, and they told us about blah, blah, blah. What are you going to do that's fun this summer? I told you I just went to the Chris Brown and the Usher concert. I had a really good time and enjoyed myself, got outside, wasn't too hot. What do you guys want to do this summer, or what do you have planned this summer that's going to be fun? Elena, you're first.
Well, I've been trying to stay out of trouble. So
there you go. See, this is a part of that journey. I love it.
So, yeah. Haven't been in any team takeovers.
Oh, you be out here a little bit. You get in trouble a little bit? It happens.
Not for real, but...
You got a smart mouth?
Yeah.
But you're going up, but you've chosen this other direction, and Fresh Nation's helping you stay on that path.
Julian, what about you, man? What you got planned for this summer? I know you're getting outside a little bit.
Probably like go outside, maybe go to Nicholasville, Kentucky, and see my little cousin.
Okay.
So like, and probably like play for the same football team as him.
Any football camps?
Bet.
Nah, not currently.
We're going to figure that out.
Yes.
We're definitely going to figure it out and get some information to get you one of these football camps. 12 years old, we got to get you some of these camps because it starts now. Elena and Julian, this is the future, man. Fresh Nation, we appreciate you guys for coming out. Fresh Nation, make some noise in the background. 2 weeks in a row. Terry Foster, we appreciate this, man. We got to keep having you guys back because every time you come, I leave with a smile on my face. So I appreciate you guys, man. You guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the Braylon Edwards Show, and we will get to talking about last night's unfortunate ending to a rather good tournament showing by Team USA. They lose last night 4-1 to Team Belgium. We'll get to that in a second. First, let's get a message in from All Day by Founders.
Hey guys, it's hot. It's summertime. We've already told you, Founders Brewing, they've got the king of the IPA category, and it's because it's not bitter. It's fresh. It's citrusy. It's balanced. And that 4.7% ABV, it's going to pace you throughout the day. It's summertime again, so get to your local retailer, find yourself some Founders All Day IPA, but make sure when you do that you drink it responsibly.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Shout out to the team over at State Title Agency. They just understand how to get things done. Whether you're buying or refinancing, they're the team for you. And that's because they are a team. They try to make things simple. They try to make things convenient. In fact, they do. Weekend closings, late night closings by appointment only. Nabi Sahai and his team over there, man, they do it the right way. The expertise of Nabi, followed by his crew and his team, they can make everything happen for you. Doesn't matter what you need to happen in the finance game. Doesn't matter what you need to happen in the mortgage game. State Title Agency, they are the team for you. So hit them up. Man, I wish a State Title Agency was there for Team USA last night to help them refinance some of that. It just, we'll talk about it from two perspectives. We're walking you back in. And chat, how you guys doing? A lot of times they kind of drop these situations on us, so that was kind of on the go, off the cuff, speedball, if you will. So get Fresh Nation in here, which we enjoy working with. But I don't want to neglect you. Appreciate you guys for joining us today. Really good show entailed for you. And let's start with the upset that, well, not the upset, but the disappointment that was Team USA yesterday. We'll talk about the game first. Thoughts on the game, because for me, I knew the game was over, and I think everyone else did. When you see the game, 8 minutes into the game, you get the first goal by Ketelar. When he scored that first goal, you're like, oh, shoot, here it is. This is what you look. And then Team USA just didn't seem to look to have it. Looked a little bit out of sorts, if you will. It looked like they were kind of just standing around versus, how they had looked in the past, how they looked against Morocco, how they looked against Egypt, how they looked at Bosnia, how they looked different. And then when you see Tillman hit the goal, you get excited. You're like, okay, here we go.
I was all in.
Here we go. You see the crowd react. You get to react. I'm at home. I'm going crazy. I'm jumping off the couch. And 51 seconds later, Ketelar hits another freaking goal. In fact, do me a favor. That goal looked like a mossing of such. Like, it looked like, when they put the Monday Night Football, they do the Randy Moss. You got mossed.
Oh, he got mossed, all right, Brad.
In fact, we got a picture of it. Put the picture up there and zoom out, if you will. And I put another picture in of what a moss. I put what a football moss looks like. Put the football moss up there. So you see this right here? Zoom in on it. The lower picture is the one I'm talking about. When you see Ketelar, his whole chest, shoulders, neck, head is above the defender, gets the header, and after he knocks it in, you know what did he do after he knocked it in, JS? He pushed him down.
Yeah,
he did.
He pushed him down. It reminded me of Scottie Pippen on Patrick Ewing. There you go, you're peasants. It reminded me of a peasants move, him pushing him down. But last night, Belgium just was far too much for Team USA, and they had some other stuff that we'll talk about. But what did you see in the match?
It took me back to 2002 in Vegas, 6 a.m., throwing a party in our suite with everybody we'd met all week to watch U.S. versus Japan. Same round, and we really thought we had the team that was going to make it beyond that round. And then you just watch a team that was just that much better than the U.S. And the U.S. has looked really good this year. Individual performances as well as the way the team was playing. But, Cam a few different times, he's like, man, leaky defense.
Sorry, defense.
Leaky defense. Not only did we see the leaky defense last night, we saw terrible individual play.
Yeah.
We saw turnover in mid-zone all the time.
Way too many.
Just transition turnovers, mistakes by the defense, terrible, egregious mistake by our goalie. But honestly, the coach, I don't know what he had dialed up. Like, all of these other matches, you're playing against teams that you're pretty close to. Now, being about a 15 to 17 ranked overall team versus about a number 8, 9, 10 team in Belgium, you don't think that that's a big gap between the two, but the gap in talent, speed, just the way that they were fluid between each other. U.S. never looked in that game.
Yeah.
They could never truly control the ball. Even when they had the ball at mid-court, at midfield, you'd watch them get pushed back and have to pass to their goalie over and over and over again. They not only controlled the ball, Belgium did on offense, but they controlled the game on defense as well. Unfortunately, 20 years ago, I remember losing that Japan game. I'm like, man, in the 20s, we're going to be a team. We're going to develop. And unfortunately, what I saw last night was not that development.
Cam, last night what you saw, you had a blunder in the 57th minute. You saw defensive errors. You saw, just the mismanagement. You saw soft openings for Team USA. Talk about what you saw, because one of the glaring things I saw too is there was a certain person that I was told was USA's star. I didn't see that guy last night.
Yeah, Pulisic
there you go.
Was very hush-hush there. We really didn't play. We didn't have much of an offense, period, in the first half. It wasn't until the second half when Reyna stepped in, they shut Pulisic up top there, where they were actually generating offense until he kicked homeboy's heel, and then he had to go. He was anchoring the team down, but really it was just overall too many lapses. Anson touched on it. Way too many turnovers in transition. We just couldn't gain possession. And then, in my opinion, it was over right after that. After the the goalkeeper blunder, that was it. They lost all momentum. Pulisic out. They didn't look good. They looked scared, really, in the first half.
That part.
They looked intimidated.
To be honest, when you watch that game, it looked very similar to the Super Bowl this past year. It looked like the Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. Like, it wasn't a ton of points scored, especially in the beginning, but you knew what team was better and what team wasn't going to be able to make it. You knew Seattle was going to eventually win that game. And then they did in the fourth quarter, and they took it out, and they really did their thing. JS, any words on Team USA before I ask the next question? Because there's a part two to Team USA, and that's the performance side. How do we view Team USA's performance? But before we get there, what did you see in the game last night?
Just absolutely embarrassing. There's no other way to say it. You have a chance to make yourselves be put into a conversation and actually elevate this game in this country, and you come out like you have never played a big game in your life. There is not one player who stepped up on that field and really stood up to the moment. You had Freeze, holding a Young-Ho Koo where he's kicking the ball ground before the ball. Pulisic did nothing all tournament, and I love Pulisic. He's been one of my favorite players for the last couple of years because he's been the best American player in Europe. But he played awful this entire tournament, and then Balogun's gonna get flack, but Balogun was one of the few players that was actually doing stuff. He didn't score. He had a couple chances to score, but it was spray. It was honestly embarrassing. And for the people that say oh, I'm not watching soccer for another 4 years, how about you go watch the damn women? The women won 4 World Cups and 5 Olympics for a reason, because they're actually nasty and they're really good at the sport. And they're unreal to watch. And it's not just because there's a crowd of men who are gonna be they're just women. Fuck that. That's stupid as hell. They are so much better than the men's team and deserve the praise because they can actually win and they look good doing it. And when it comes to a big game, not the round of 16, how about the World Cup final when Alex Morgan is playing against England, the world superpower and the favorite, and she just goes to the corner and sips some tea after scoring a huge goal. That is the level, the mentality that the women's team has. And the men's team just has none of that shit. They're a bunch of scared. They're scared. They're literally scared, and they played scared last night. That was embarrassing. Literally embarrassing, especially on home turf in Seattle. Crowd didn't sit for a second. Totally embarrassing. Pitiful. Pitiful. Pitiful.
I'm glad you took it there because that's exactly how I saw last night. Not necessarily talking about the whole tournament, but last night you saw a team that didn't realize what that moment was. You saw a team that didn't understand what they needed to be in that moment. There was no dog in that fight. There was no grit in that fight, as we talk about the Lions all the time. There was none of that. You didn't see any of that. You saw teams, as you pointed, kept kicking the ball back to the goalie, didn't want to touch the ball, running away from the ball, looking like the Pistons a little bit in terms of the NBA playoffs, and guys not necessarily wanting to shoot that pass or shoot that ball. They really had an opportunity because they had blunders. They had mistakes that led to a lot of the goals, that led to the consistent play for, excuse me. Oh, man, I had something in my throat, man. I apologize on that. But they had a lot of goals that blunders that are attributed. You guys kissed my ass on that one.
You didn't have to say pause after it.
Well, it was a rough situation. It was a rough situation, just like it was for Team USA last night. And Pulisic, he's the interest point, and why I want to give him some extra blame. And I'm glad you said that for him, because when you talk about the worlds, he's won championships in Premier Leagues. He's won in other places. He's been one of the best players in the world. But when we need him for Team USA, couldn't necessarily find him outside of one game in this tournament.
Who farted in the chat?
Hoof!
In soccer, outmatched teams can go full defense and low block and hope to counterattack, but the U.S. doesn't have that option. They aren't good at defense. Yeah. What I saw in this tournament was individual play at times that really sparked their offense. And I really thought that their manager, their head coach, or whatever you call the guy on the sideline, he didn't understand how to take a team that wasn't as good as another and put them into a position to compete and win. Anytime that the midfielders got it, they were passing. Yeah. There was no attempts at individual play to try and get the ball close and in the center where the goal's at. And so the box was all passing all night last night. You saw no individual attempts, not only on the lines, but also in the middle. And if you have that, man, you have guys now. That's the way that the U.S. had to exist 20 years ago. You had guys that just looked scared last night. They didn't want to put the ball down and try and see if they could get by somebody to make an actual move and make something happen. No one played confident. Everyone played scared. They looked like a team that was severely outmatched, and 4-1, that's how it looked at the end.
1,000%. That's not the way you want them to finish. That was the finish, but let's talk about the totality. I want to come to you first on this, Justin, because you're cooking with grease right now. That intensity, keep it going right here. How was this performance for Team USA? Overall, from start to finish, was this a successful World Cup for the home team, Team USA?
No, it was not. They got gifted winning that group. They really did. Paraguay?
Weak group.
The group was terrible. They 4-1 Paraguay in the opening game, and the only team that they played worth the ish, but until they played Belgium, was Turkey, and they lost. I don't care that they already won the group, because that was the only other game that they played against competent competition, and they lost. And then they followed it up by Yeah, they look good against Bosnia, Herzegovina. Congratulations, okay? That's not who I care about. Go beat someone who matters. Go beat Belgium. Like, everyone before the tournament's like, oh, we beat Germany in a friendly. Oh, I think this is our year. We're England now. It's coming home. We're actually going to go to the Elite Eight for 1 year. Except that in England, it's actually to win the trophy. I mean, it's just, Braylon, it's just disappointing. You are judged by the entirety of the tournament, and everyone was riding high coming out of the group stage. We won the group. You know, a lot of people knew it was a weak group, but winning against a team that you were supposed to win in the round of 32 that never existed in the World Cup before this year. That game wouldn't have happened in the last World Cup. It's a fake win. It's fairy dust. It's pixie dust. What is it? From Wolf of Wall Street.
Tinkerbell. There you go. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That's going to kill me. But anyway.
Yeah. Cam, piggyback that because, Justin, he makes a lot of valid points as it relates to this.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, you can tell after that game there that the U.S. has a lot of development to work on, creating better players. Belgium made us look like a high school team, nearly college per se, versus a professional team. So, like, we're weak. Pulisic came in injured. I know that's not an excuse, but yeah, he was just so ineffective, and it's all about development. But I have confidence in this new coach, though. Hopefully they can retain him. Sound like he cleaned up quite the mess, and hopefully he rebuilds a new and successful foundation.
I know Poch very well. I'm a Chelsea fan, and we sacked him for no reason. He was like building a really nice core there, and they sacked him because of our ownership group is kind of a mess. But I was glad when he signed over here, and I think that I believe they did just extend him to 2030, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that on Twitter. If that's the case, then hopefully but he has to develop some of these guys, and yes. I don't know how you do that only specifically at international friendlies and competition when it's not during the season when you truly can get developed, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's tough. It's kind of like Team USA back in the day when they lose and they have to do the redeem team. They started practicing 2.5, 3 years out so that they can get ready for Olympics to build that cohesion. So you're right about that. Anson, I'll go before you, and I'll say that there was a level of success, but it wasn't Team USA. The level of success was USA hosting this World Cup. There were a lot of great experience. There was a lot of good engagement. I think USA as a whole showed up for this tournament, showed up in the places, whether it was Dallas, whether it was Seattle, whether it was Canada, whether it was Mexico. So the U.S. North America, they won as a host. With that being said, not so much the Team USA. For all that you talk about, this is the most points they've ever scored. Well, guess what? There are extra games. Well, this is the most. A lot of those things are extra games. You talk about that, Justin. You added to that. When you talk about the team itself, it still felt like a team that this team can't compete with England. This team can't compete with. That's why this team can't compete with the big dogs, making. They're necessarily not a part of the tournament. Like, it was fun in the beginning, but in the end, where was that star player? We're clamoring for a number 2 here in Detroit as it relates to basketball. It's like, who's going to be the star player to play with K? Who the hell is going to be the star player for Team USA? I understand Pulisic, but in the Olympic space, or in the Copa space, in the World Cup space, didn't show up. And is Balogun it? No, he's not. So for me, they didn't have a guy that, took the reins and that could be that guy for them that could make the goals in the moments or assist, if you will, or get this offense set up through. They didn't have that guy. And then the result, you lose 4-1 at the crib.
Yeah, the way they went out.
You lose 4-1 at the crib.
Yeah.
Like, that really could be the one and only point that you have to make. Because don't get me wrong, Belgium and, De Cancelar and all that, yeah, they're good. They understand soccer, and they beat us last time. But they're not good to drub us like they did. And they beat the hell out of us. Last time we were in the World Cup, we also lost 3-1. The 3 results before that, we lost by 1. So this is supposed to be the best USA team. This is supposed to be the next step. This is supposed to be the next iteration. This is supposed to be the one to get young kids playing soccer around the country. This is supposed to be that USA team. This is supposed to be their World Cup. Watching them get blanked and be indecisive in the moment, literally indecisive in the moment, I don't think it accomplished what they wanted to do. So I would have to say it was a failure.
And it's not like they drew Spain in the round of 16, or they drew Argentina or France,
or even Colombia,
or like they drew the 9th best team in the world. Like, they were not it was even odds on the game, which obviously
they were actually the favorites.
Yeah, they were favorites. Which, that was a little home.
And that's because everybody here was betting on them, sure. Yeah. But when I look at what happened in 2002. It took us 24 years to get out of that round, to win that first elimination game. So in those terms, it's a success. The risk of the U.S. men's team embarrassing themselves as a host nation at home was high, okay? They did not do that. So in those terms, you have a success. You think about 94 and the impact it had on U.S. soccer, and then again in 02, the impact it had on U.S. soccer. You had an opportunity here by winning and getting to the quarterfinals where that's so true. Because this whole week, it would be soccer, 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 soccer. And the fact is these guys went out and, like you said, they looked like they shouldn't even have been on the field with Belgium.
Yeah.
I had said at the beginning of the tournament that I felt that they could play with Belgium and that this was their best chance to get to the quarterfinals since the game against Japan in 02. Right. And the fact that you come out and your coach looks like he just didn't know what scheme to play, your guys come out flat, you don't see any individual stuff, and you give up the goal to even make it look worse at the end. It's hard to come away from this feeling spectacular. I don't think it's a failure. It's certainly not a success. But if this weren't at home, right, I think that this whole World Cup would have been kind of not noticed by Americans. The fact that it was here is the only reason why we know that they won that first elimination game. And the same thing happens in 4 years somewhere else. It's not a big deal. They got to get to the quarterfinals one of these years.
And to my point, that's why it's a failure. Like, and I get what you're saying in terms of wanting to give them some credit for some things that were done differently this time, and that's fine, and I get that. But it's a failure in the sense that if this were not in America, we wouldn't be paying attention to it. Like, it wouldn't look this way if it was not here. So I think in that sense, like, this is where we were supposed to be told, hey, look, this is the new iteration. This is what USA Soccer is going to be moving forward. If I'm 12 years old, much like some of those kids were from Fresh Nation when he came up here and sitting in the back, if I'm 12 years old and I'm teetering on the line of soccer versus hockey, soccer versus baseball, soccer versus whatever, and I'm watching this, I'm like, if I'm a parent, I'm telling my kid, yeah, you're going to play this baseball because...
See, for me, I think both can be true.
Yeah.
This is not a failure. It's a failure for the fans and us wanting to become a top 10 team. We're not yet. In order to be a quarterfinalist, you got to be top 8. But what it did do, this is a major boon for U.S. soccer. Even with them losing that heartbreaker and not looking good last night, this whole World Cup, the fact that they didn't fall on their face, the fact that they won their group, the fact that they won their first elimination game, U.S. soccer will be better for this. So overall, it is a win, despite the fact that it feels like such a failure right now.
Yeah, it does feel like a failure, but you know what? Kudos to the guys. They went out there and they played. They did what they had to do. They gave what they had.
They repped the country well.
And it just wasn't enough.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. But for me, it's one of those things where, like, every single year we're having this conversation. I was told in 2014 that, you know what, Dempsey, Tim, what they're doing, Team USA, they're going to be back in 2018. Heard that. They didn't even make the tournament in 2018. Yeah. 2022, they'll be back. They look the same as they did this year. They lost to Netherlands 3-1. They lose to Belgium 4-1. So for me, it's just a repeated pattern.
Completely agree. They look the same. Looks like the same U.S. men's national team.
Look, let's take a quick commercial break. Let's decompress and come back and talk about something that's a little bit more fun, if you will. That is your Detroit Pistons. But first, let's get a message in from Planet Fitness. You saw it. 315, took it for a ride 3 times, man. When I'm not where I was today, I'm always at Planet Fitness getting it in. It's because there's no judgment there. You can march to the beat of your own drum. You can get it in. And there's trainers on staff. Not everybody can take 315 for a ride. That's cool. But you can take whatever you can for a ride, and they got trainers on staff for that, helping you start your journey, excel your journey, or taking it to the next level. And everything is clean at Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network.
I know we've been telling you about it. I know that you've been thinking about it. It's time to make the call to Mortgage Pros. It's time to change your life. We were out with these guys a month ago, their 4th annual block party. Hundreds of employees, and the vibes were high. This is the kind of place that you want to work, but they're going to blast through that ceiling that's been above you and your career. You want to change the trajectory for your life, for your family, you got to make the call. 248-416-1361, or you can head on over to mtgopros.com. This is Michigan's #1 mortgage broker. Unreasonably high standards, faster closing, elite support, impeccable service. You can read all that stuff up there. My best friend, there's a block behind my mom's house. He went through Mortgage Pros. He absolutely loved it. So if you're working there, you're going to be happy with what you're delivering to your clients. But at the same time, I got 3 friends that work there. They all said the same thing. It absolutely changed their lives. So if you're ready to make that change as well, make it with Mortgage Pros.
Make that change with Mortgage Pros, and we are back. Speaking of change, it's time for the Pistons to make a change in terms of adding more players. You already see them add players such as Isaiah Joe, John Collins signed 3-year deal here, $51 million. So they're making moves, but is it enough? Right now, I don't think it's enough. Yesterday, we found out that the San Antonio Spurs have waived DeMar DeRozan, and the name that also has been coming up for
Kings.
a week now is KD. What'd you say over there, Justin?
It's the Kings.
Excuse me. Right, what I was saying. The Sacramento Kings, DeMar DeRozan, and then KD is the ever-going conversation. So we'll start off with this. Start with DeMar DeRozan. I like the potential of DeMar DeRozan. I like the prospect of not having to give up anything to get him. I like the price point. And last year he averaged 18 points for the Sacramento Kings that were going nowhere in that Western Conference. I think there's a lot more tread left on his tire than Tobias Harris. What say you about DeMar DeRozan?
Do you remember when we brought Trajan Langdon in?
100%.
And I was like, DeMar DeRozan's out there. And it didn't seem like the fit at the time. A super young team. You go out and you get Tobias,
right,
the perfect leader for the next 2 years. Now you don't have Tobias, and you don't have Isaiah Stewart. So your leadership and your grit, those sharp elbows, you don't quite have as much of that around. You're still looking for that Robin, that number 2 guy. This man does all of it. That's a nasty guy when he's on the floor, man. You can't screw around with DeMar DeRozan. He has plenty of grit. He plays with an edge, which I think Detroit would absolutely embrace, Braylon, but this guy can still hoop. And I think the situation he found himself going to sign with them, they thought they had something. They had just been in the playoffs. Nice run, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis. And then they just are terrible. And they get De'Aaron Fox over to San Antonio, and now they want to trade Domantas Sabonis. They've got a whole let's trade for draft picks movement. DeMar DeRozan thought he was going to a playoff-bound team, found himself not in that situation, frustrated, and now he's got an opportunity on his way out. He is going to sign with a contender, Bray. And I think that this is the great situation. Yes, I want Trey Murphy, but you got to give some things up. We talked about KD yesterday out at Wabeek with the Puff 3rd annual golf outing. Cost is legitimate there. And the thing that I kept saying yesterday is you can't get this one wrong. You only get one blockbuster trade. You only can trade away those 2, 3, 4 first-round picks in this Cade Cunningham championship window one time. If you sign DeMar DeRozan, you still get that trade. You get to see who this team is until February, and then when some new names are out there, maybe Trey's still out there, some other guys, you can use those trade exceptions, those other players, the guys like Duncan, if he's still on the team, that salary to match up with those draft picks, to maybe even get another Robin to pair with DeMar DeRozan, Duren, Asar, and the great Cade Cunningham.
Justin, look at this team right now. I don't see this as a 60-win team in the NBA that will be 2026. I think the East will be reloaded. It will be revamped, and it'll look much different than it did last year for the Detroit Pistons, who finished 60-22. With that being said, is DeMar DeRozan the piece that can start tipping Detroit in the right direction for you?
Well, the 60 wins to me, Braylon, does not matter.
No,
this
fair.
is now playoff basketball. It only matters what you do when it comes playoff time.
If you go down to 49, it matters, though.
I don't think that they're going to go down to 49, though. I think that as long as you're a top 4 seed, I think that's all you can ask for, and I don't think that there's a route right now where they're not a top 4 seed. I really like their roster. I know they're not done, and I think that the match that DeMar DeRozan has in Detroit is very intriguing to me because of the fact that he shoots 49% from the field consistently. He gives you what you just lost with Tobias Harris. What was Tobias Harris's best thing that he brought to the offense? Driving to the mid-range, pulling up, hitting a contested jumper when we needed it. DeMar DeRozan is even better than
Yes,
Tobias
sir.
Harris at that. Wings when you rings. This is a guy who is good defensively as well. He's 33, so he's still got some try. I can't imagine that he's going to ask for a huge contract. He's going to probably a 2-year deal. He's probably be flexible. It's probably be flexible on your team as well. I think the match is perfect here. I think especially with the shooters you have on the floor, and even with DeRozan, DeRozan can shoot it from 3 at a pretty, not a great clip, but if he has to knock down a 3, he's not afraid to shoot a 3. And that's where I think with the amount of shooting you've added, if you add a guy like DeRozan, and I didn't talk about KD yesterday, which I will get into in a second.
We're gonna let you get your chance.
Thank you, because I love KD.
Yeah. Same.
Anyway, I think that if you aren't going to give up capital, and this would be like a very nice, typical Detroit move.
Yes.
But on the higher level of those Detroit moves, where you kind of are bargain binning it. But this is a player who can come in and make a big impact for you, be that second scorer for you, and then also he's a good defender. Where I like the fit that he can have on this team, because when he's not asked to be the man, he's a very, very good player.
No doubt.
Yeah, 1,000%. Stick with you, Justin. You said there's still one of your top 4. Who are your 4 teams right now in Eastern Conference? Because me and you might different, and I'm going to come to you on that, B-Lad. Who's the 4? You said you got him in the top 4 right now.
I think that Boston is going to take a step back this year.
Okay.
Just for 1 year. Just like they're going to do a 1 year kind of bottom out. Maybe they, tank a little bit. I don't know. But also I could see they do have a great roster, and I love the Mitchell Robinson
Think
pickup.
or hope?
Hope, probably hope.
There you go.
I don't understand the Jaylen Brown move, because analytically he is not they are a worse basketball team with him on the floor. But eye test wise, he is a good basketball player. He was one of Finals MVP. He is a 5-time All-Star. The chemistry issues I also understand. It's just a tough. I'm gonna say I don't have a good enough opinion on Boston to give you an opinion. I think Philly's going to be, if they can stay remotely healthy, they will be a top 4 team. I think Cleveland will be a top 4 team. I think the Cavs will be a top 4 team. And I think the Pistons are just in that mix of the 5 teams. I think unless Miami makes another move, I do think they're not on that tier yet in the East.
Agreed. Did you mention Orlando?
I think we're better than Orlando.
With Vukovic and a healthy Franz? They
Yes.
signed Vukovic.
I'd put Orlando in my top 4.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that Vuk is. I think Duren is a better center than Vuk, and I think that in that matchup, I would take Duren.
Are we getting playoff Duren, or are we getting regular season Duren?
I mean, that's a good
Or are we
question,
gonna
but
have Duren
I expect. Look, there's players struggle in their first postseason. I have bought Duren stock. I believe in Jalen Duren. I think that he can come back from those playoff woes. I think that he needs an off season to work on his game. However, I like this. I like this Pistons team more than last year. I don't, and I know that the East is also getting better, but I think that you match up better as a team with this roster against other teams in the past. Because yes, the Pistons were always great defensively, but now you have added a versatile array of weapons to bring that offense to a better state, and I still think the defense will be there. I don't think losing Stu is that big of a loss. I really don't, and I do think Tobias is, but I think that if you get a guy like DeMar DeRozan or KD in here, And to compliment John Collins, I think that this team is better than it was last year.
All right, so now I 100% agree with you on the beef stew. You guys know how I feel about beef stew, so him being gone, I have no problem with that. This roster, I understand how you guys are excited. You're excited for Isaiah Joe, who you know can shoot, who you know filled in for SGA, who you know filled in for J-Dub. You got a chance to see that John Collins, much younger, much more athletic, much more healthy, and he shoots better from the three, shoots better from outside, so I understand that. But I like what you added at the end. You said if the Pistons add another piece, then you believe in them. The Jaylen Brown situation is very easy in Boston. Like, you cannot continue to say and operate the way that Jaylen Brown was saying and operating in space and last in Boston, of all places. If you know the history of Boston, you know why Jaylen Brown is no longer in Boston. What say you, though, B-Lad, as it relates to the Pistons and the move for DeRozan, the top four, blah, blah, blah. Find your own conversation in there.
Yeah, and I'll keep it a whole stack with you. I didn't watch a whole lot of the NBA as of late. I feel like the Pistons skipped over our generation. I know Justin is an elite ball knower, but number one, you can't watch him. Number two, I watched him in the playoffs, so that's really the only gauge that I got. Now, from when I got my top four, I know Orlando could definitely be sneaky. I know the Peasants are still going to be there. Cleveland is 100% going to be there, but here's the thing. It's like there's still so many question marks on this team.
That's playoff basketball for you.
It is. Trust me, I watch playoff basketball, but it's something about the NBA in the regular season with all the drama and the load management that was going on. It just wasn't really my thing. But as far as the Pistons go, I just feel like there are still so many question marks, especially with Jalen Duren, especially getting K to Robin. There's so many names that are kind of pooling out there that the Pistons could potentially have, and it's just a big old if. That's like the one thing that is kind of nagging at me a little bit here. As far as me putting them in the top four, I still think they're going to be playoff bound, no doubt about that at all. But it's all up to, how we handle this thing. Like, are we going to get, I think DeMar DeRozan is a very Pistons-like signing. I think Kevin Durant would be, and we'll get to that on in the future, but Kevin Durant would be a little bit more of an impactful signing, and that would be Cade's legit Robin. And that's what we need. And we also need to do something about Jalen Duren. And I preferably, after kind of sitting back and looking at all this, I don't think, the max is in play, but I also don't think you can give up on him. There's no doubt about it. He's way too young. He can develop into something that could be great. I mean, he was third-team All-NBA. You don't just get that. It's not a walk in the park, you know what I'm saying? So that's just all up to me right now. It's just a big old question mark. And we, it's still early, very early in the NBA offseason, and that's why, there's so much excitement around it too, and all these possibilities that we can put the Detroit Pistons in the top four conversation there. And I do agree with Justin too that I do think Boston will take a step back. I just feel like there's a whole lot of drama going on over there right now. Tatum, I mean, he came back from his injury. He's still good, and Boston's still a good roster, no doubt about it. But I think it'll be like fighting for that fifth spot would be Boston and Detroit.
I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and my friends in the industry as well. I was talking to him about the Pistons and talking to the comparison. And I said, you know what the Pistons have done is similar to what the Lions have done. I said, he said what the Pistons have done is similar to the Lions have done. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, they need a certain thing. They need a number two player. They need a guy that's Cade's Robin, however you want to phrase it, or another Batman who's just as good, can go out there and drop you 35 if you need be. They got to get that guy. We've been talking about this for the past 3 years. He said, just like the Lions have been talking about getting certain players. He said, but they move around it. He said, as opposed to get the guy, Lions are supposed to get defense as relates to DBs and defensive edge for the last, 3-4 years? He said, but they've added players around it. Yeah. Same thing for the Pistons. Like, they legitimately were supposed to get the Robin, but here they're adding this piece right here, and they're adding Isaiah Joe, and they're adding a John Collins. I said, but the differences with those teams is the Lions still have Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Penei Sewell, Brian Branch. It's Jack Campbell. It's the surrounding cast is damn good. You're not looking for as much. The Pistons, you got Cade, and you're trying to figure out the rest.
You got 3 future Hall of Famers on the Detroit Pistons right now. Jalen Duren will be in the Hall of Fame. Asar Thompson will be in the Hall of Fame. And we all know that Cade Cunningham will be in the Hall of Fame. I'm looking here, Dante 151.
We got to start. We got to stop being so friendly.
No, I'm not. I'm being realistic.
Okay,
you can push back. I'm going to tell you in 10 years we're going to look and I'll be right.
Give me. Well, tell me now.
Correct.
Because how was Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren making the NBA? The Hall of Fame.
Because
they don't have college careers to help them.
Asar Thompson will be a steady on the first team All Defensive team for 5 years.
Let me ask you this:
more.
Maybe.
Is Tony Allen in the Hall? Is Tony Allen going to be a Hall of Famer?
Tony Allen's not even in the same league as him.
He's got Defensive Player of the Year. He finished runner-up 3 times, and he has a championship.
Very good defensive player. We'll rewind in 10 years, and you'll see.
But you have to give me. But you have to give me more than just saying he's a Hall of Famer.
I just gave it to you.
How? What's the path to be a Hall of Famer? Like, what? Just defensive players in the Hall of Fame.
Watch his development. Watch what he came from what he was in his first year to missing nearly a full year to a blood clot to what he turned into this last year. Okay? The guy's super duper young, massive part of this core. I truly believe that those 3 people, as long as they stay together, they will be future Hall of Famers. So you keep comparing just like everybody does in town. Super unfair to Trajan Langdon and the Detroit Pistons because they were supposed to go get the Robin. That's what fans say, all right? This is still a 60-win team with a core average age of under 25 years old on this team, all right? Michael Weary, Chad, honestly, KD or Murphy, DeRozan would only be a backup. He wouldn't be a backup on this team. The fact is the flexibility that Trajan has fought so hard for these last 2 years, he's not running to blow just because you guys want that big move that Stevie won't make, that Chris won't make, and that Brad hasn't made yet. Okay, Trajan is slow rolling this the same way he slow rolled Duren. You guys were so afraid he was going to overspend that we were going to lose him to LA, and look where Trajan and the Pistons are sitting, in the driver's seat. Okay, so the fact that everybody's pushing, you didn't get this guy, you didn't get that guy. Yes, John Collins is not the guy that you drop the ball to with 5 minutes left and say, ISO Joe, go get us a hoop, all right? John Collins is the guy that's going to have to play off of what Cade creates. So you lose a major thing in that. DeRozan would be exactly that, a little different. But I'm telling you, this team is not far away from dominating this conference. Now, talk about that Donovan Mitchell contract. We did kind of mention that. 4 years, $273, starting off 61, 66, 71, 75. You know what that does?
Yeah,
that all but
hurts what you can bring
cancels LeBron. Now, LeBron has to come in at a vet minimum.
Yeah.
In order for them to get them.
And
Does he go to Philly?
He'll never do that.
If LeBron ends up at any team in the East, these 5, 6 that we've mentioned, they become the number 1 by far. I think that there's a glob. And I think that the Detroit Pistons, the moves that they have made, they sit right there with that glob of teams. But they have more flexibility than any of them to make something happen in February. So if it doesn't happen now, Detroit, don't sentence him to the same opinion that you have of the other GMs in town. It's only been 2 years.
True, but I think you're a little aggressive as it relates to that conversation because, at least for me, I wasn't conversating on Trajan's not doing this or you have to swing or you have to do that. I see the veins popping out of your head right now.
They always do.
This is true, fair. But when it looks at that, though, when you got to win the NBA title, like, you need 3 players. You need 2 for sure. And this is what the fans, at least the fans that are on my side, this is what they're looking for. They're just looking for that other player that will be able to help Kate achieve that. And currently as constructed, which we know we're talking about DeMar, they don't have that guy. And they can't be that team to move forward. They're not going to be the team to accelerate what they did last year based on what they have right now. But I digress because there is more to offer. We still have the rest of the summer, and you still have up into February.
And
so
everyone sleeps on Ebuka Okorie.
Okay.
And y'all can't wait to watch what this kid does in red, white, and blue.
I can't wait to hear what Justin has to say about the KD move because I feel like there's a lot of meat on that bone for Justin to talk about. And I think you, as well as some other people, might be pleasantly surprised. But let me get you a message in, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the Slim Reaper. We're excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to Woodward Sports family. If you've been in an accident and your vehicle needs repairs, make sure you trust the team at Icon Auto Repair and Collision. Let me tell you about this little caveat right here. With 3 convenient Metro Detroit locations, Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac, they've got you covered. They offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. They offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. That sounds like a team that I want to be in bed with. Sounds like a team that I want to represent me. This is what we do at Woodward Sports. We only bring you the best. Visit iconauto.com. It's the icon you can count on.
Game is won in the trenches. And our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the and that's not very nice.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Justice Tower, let me tell you about Amnesia, and if you look on the screen, the Amnesia Switch, 2 flavors, 1 device, and there are 3 ways to enjoy it. Look at, I have it right here. There's 3 different settings for all different flavors, and you can mix them as well, so make sure you tap in with Amnesia today at your local dispensary, because everyone just needs a little amnesia in their life.
It's goated, that Amnesia.
It's like that?
You know, my mom...
I've had some of that.
This morning, my mom, she says, what does goat mean? So I explained it to her. I said it has changed, though, because when we were young, it was just one goat. Like the greatest of all time. Now you can just be goated for, like, opening somebody's door.
Everybody's goated.
For sure.
I think LeBron started that whole conversation. Everybody's the GOAT.
She asked if she was a goat, and I said, yes, Mom, you are the greatest mother of all time.
100%, man. Shout out to Mom Duke. Shout out to my mom as well. You know I love you, and I know you are watching. Getting back to the camera. Also, what's going on with the chat? How's the chat doing?
I'm waiting for some more super chats. We only got 2.
Okay.
We need some like smashes. We need you to share.
They probably didn't like soccer. You know,
we've been running 250 strong with the soccer and the hoops. They like it.
They didn't like it enough to super chat.
It's the hoops that got it super chat.
Well, speaking of hoops, let's get these super chats going, because Justin Satao, we talked a little bit about the Slim Reaper yesterday and his chances on being a Detroit Pistons, and a lot of pushback from a lot of people in the chat, and of course a lot of pushback from the guy to my left over here. What say you about Kevin Durant finding his 7th NBA franchise? Did I make that up?
Bring me the Slim
Hey,
Reaper.
there we go.
Absolutely. This is the type of move that you make when you are in pursuit of an NBA championship. And the mock trades that I have seen, I am willing to give up all of those assets. Holland.
Tell me the most expensive deal you'd do.
The most expensive deal I would do would be, I think my line would be Asar Thompson. I think if you were to give them what?
Oh no, not me. I'm just looking at him.
No, I know.
I'm just letting you guys get into it.
No, my line being like I wouldn't
you
trade it.
Want 1 year of a 38.
Let him finish.
That's my line. I wouldn't trade Asar. Stop crashing out.
Oh, okay.
Relax.
All right.
This guy's about to have a meltdown over here. That is my line.
You see that vein in my forehead?
Yeah, the packages I've been seeing have been Ron Holland, Karis LeVert, or Robinson, 2 firsts. I mean, it is old ass KD. Like, I love him.
Would you pay 3 first?
Oh, absolutely.
4?
Yeah. Yeah. 4 is tough.
So 4 Ron LeVert Duncan for 1 year. Possibly.
I probably would.
Possibly 1 year of Durant, because he can opt out.
I mean, you have a lot of control over your next couple years to be able. You could deal those assets. You could always find late round first.
But you have no control over Kevin Durant. So
are you trying to win an NBA championship, Anson?
For 1 year? That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
we
it.
would be the.
Would
we not be the best team in the East?
All you get is 27. That's it.
Would we not be the best team in the East?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty damn sure.
I think
we
you're
would be
right
the best
too.
team in the
Are
East.
they enough to? Is that enough to beat Wemby? Is that enough to beat OKC? Because after 27, it's all gone. KD opts out.
I know, but
you got no picks. You got no Ron pieces to trade. You're back to where you were last year.
I understand that, Anson, but he is exactly what this team needs. He is the
He was
perfect
exactly
fit.
what Houston needed, right? What did he average? 12, 2, and 1 in the
All right,
playoffs?
let's not act like
he
let's
had
not-
2 playoff
let's not-
games.
let's not
He
act
was
like
the guy
Houston.
that was put in Houston over the top in the West to come out. That's why they traded their player of the future, their number 2 overall pick. And what did he do? He played in 2 games against the Lakers, and he averaged 2, 3, and 2, or 12, 3, and 2.
First of all,
Okay.
first,
That's what you're trading for.
First of all, the disarray around the Houston Rockets as it relates to Jalen
Fair.
Green, as it relates to that team and everything involved, in considering who they also brought in who tore his ACL before the season even started, which is Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
so
doubt.
let's
Big
be a
moment.
little cognizant of what that was. But to your point, he didn't show up in the playoffs, but we've seen players on teams that suck, and you're just like, I'm just trying to get to the postseason.
When you trade for him and you're Houston, do you expect him to be there more than 1 year?
But this is the thing. I don't know, because in the landscape today, he is a hired hitman.
Sure.
He's been a hired
Mercenary at
hitman
the best.
everywhere he's. So I'm like, I think realistically, when you trade for him, you're like, look, man, I hope I get 2 years, but I'm hoping it goes right in the first year, so the second year really doesn't matter.
I'd give 5 to get 3 years of Trey.
Yeah.
I'd give everything and 5 to get 3 years of Trey, and then possibly re-sign him at 30 versus maybe 1 year, twice the cost, $43 million. And then hope and pray that you either win and he wants to come back to repeat, or you got close enough that he wants to come back and try again.
What does the season look like for the Pistons from October through February with the team that they have constructed right now? Because maybe there isn't a move right now. You've been talking about it a lot. The Detroit Lions will do this to you a lot. You think there's more coming. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There is no
real
DB in shiny armor coming through that door. There is no DB wearing a cape that's coming in here to start for the Lions this year. The Lions are all set with what they have in the secondary, and they're going to figure that out.
That's
much
correct.
like 1,000%, much like the Pistons. What did the Pistons look like from October to January as currently constructed?
I'm sorry, but there's something going on in the chat here. There's even crazier clown now, and there's a real battle going on. I got lost.
With the original crazy clown?
I don't know what's going on right now. I probably don't want to go there. I apologize. Ask me again.
What's going on over there? It's a little wild.
It is. There's
We'll let that be the chat.
Yeah, I don't even want to bring it up. I don't even want to bring it up. But a lot of these guys think that I'm on fire right now. Tell them what's up, and A-Dub.
You're on fire
I'm
at
36.
talking over me, that's for sure.
Well, that's why I'm on the desk, baby.
There you go.
I'm 36.
Justin,
I don't want nobody my age on this team unless they coming for a vet minimum.
You don't want anybody coming for you on your team. That's not, okay. JS, what do you think about that? And Anson, we're gonna temper you down a little bit.
Mute me.
We're gonna temper you down. No, we don't mute people on this show, but we will turn you down a little bit. Let's do
Well,
go ahead,
but
Jack.
most likely what happened, as he has a player option, and he probably is not going to get another $40 million if he enters free agency. He would most likely opt in next year, and if he wanted to leave, it would facilitate a sign-and trade for probably the exact same package you're going to give up to get him. So no, Anson, I'm not worried about that, because I think in a 2-year window that you hope you get KD for 2 years, if not you sign and trade him after year 1, you have a legitimate shot, and in
For
40
4
million,
late first-round draft picks?
I don't think it's going to cost that much, Anson.
But I'm saying, what do you get back for him next year? Getting those draft picks back?
Get the draft picks back. I don't think Ron Holland fits into this where this team is right now. He has not proven that he can be a consistent offensive option, and him and Asar just play each other out. Like, you can't have both of them on the floor at the same time ever. That's just just does not work in the
Agreed.
modern NBA. And so and then LeVert, Robinson, who cares?
Sure.
Like the only asset you're really caring about is Ron Holland and a couple late round firsts. You can get late round firsts. We saw 5 seconds get you a late round first in the NBA draft this year, and that's how you hit as a team in the late rounds. Like, if you're that good anyway, then a 30th overall pick is the same as the 32nd overall pick. Like, in Trajan Lake, they need to get comfortable hitting on picks in the late first round and second round, and in the NBA you can only trade every other year. So you get a hit every other year. That's all you need. And when you're going after an NBA championship, you have to be aggressive. And KD is the perfect fit to put next to Cade Cunningham.
Realistically, when you bring up the playoff stats from this past season, not necessarily the best in Kevin Durant considering what he has been in his career, but when you look at the regular season, when you're looking at him getting acclimated to a team, when you're looking at a guy in Fred VanVleet that wasn't there, when you look at Jalen Green was no longer there, when you look at all the moves that happened, Kevin Durant averaged 26 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 5 assists. He was 52% from field goal. He was 41.3% from three-point range, 87-4, almost a 40-50-90 or a 50-40-90 type season for him. This is the type of guy that you're going to be getting on a team, B-Lad.
Correct.
On a team that has aspirations of winning it all and are going about it the right way.
Yes, that's a great point, and especially how you added to the team purpose of it all. Like Justin said, I'm all in for selling out to win a championship. And I don't necessarily think the Pistons would be in like a terrible position if they were to go sell out, win a championship, and they lose KD after one championship. I don't think I think their core is good enough to keep them going, and they can kind of fall back and make these moves. But I do agree, and like to keep the team together and keep it afloat and keep it a playoff-bound team, to my point. But I also do agree with Anson here when I would much rather have Trey Murphy for the longevity of it all, and you get to keep some of your stock in the draft as well to potentially hit on someone young, and you can kind of reshape the core and what it looks like in the future. But I don't necessarily think since KD's getting towards the end of his career, would make this team worse. Like, it obviously makes it better. You don't really have to give
facts.
You give up stuff that isn't really impacting your team right now, and that's why I'm willing to get rid of all that to make a push to win a championship now. Like, I would be cool if the Pistons win a championship now, and then they're like mid for a couple years, and they kind of reshape the whole thing going forward. I would be willing to see that because I've never seen a winning Pistons team really until recently.
Anson, what's the worst that could happen if the Detroit Pistons sign Kevin Durant and under the terms that Justin trade for Kevin Durant under the terms that Justin has brought up in terms of what they can potentially get back if it doesn't work this season? What's the worst that could happen?
Well, there's something very interesting that Justin did mention, and that is if you fail this year, let's say you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, you don't win. And KD doesn't love it here, and he's ready to move on, even though, to Justin's point, he's probably not going to get $46 million somewhere else. So he wants to sign and trade, and you do move him. Now, it all comes down to what you can get back, but really what you do is you probably just end up throwing away a season. You end up hoping you can recoup what you got back, because the facts are you're not going to get as much as Phoenix got. Right?
Yeah.
And Houston is not going to get back as much as they gave to Phoenix. So if we do the same thing, we're going to pay a little less than Houston had to pay, and then when we sell them, it's going to be a little less than what we paid.
That's also a good point.
And you look through the chat here, and I'm sorry. I know that KD is one of those guys, but he's 38. He's done nothing in the playoff but get booted in the first round since he left Golden State. Many places. They say it here in the chat. I don't know how true it is, but he's been a cancer to some spots. He doesn't get along with a lot of guys. Now, we love the friendship of Cade and KD. Oh, they talk and they whisper during the All-Star game. They whisper after games. He was on his podcast. There's 11 other guys on this team, okay? He's got to get along with those guys as well. This is not Mr. Sociable.
Yeah.
This is not let's go out and travel with the team like this team likes to do.
Right.
They are tight knit. So how does KD? The worst case scenario is you get bounced in the second round again.
Yes.
KD's to blame. His value tanks. You get half back of what you spent.
Yep.
And now you're getting the Timberwolves first round picks in the next 2 or 3 years, which again are 25 or later.
The same as yours should be.
But we don't want those. I want somebody that's going to be here with an opportunity to become part of this core for multiple years. A guy that's young, maybe slept on like Trey Murphy is, because y'all didn't know who he was before I started talking about him in November and December.
Actually, I did. Kool-Aid has been on him for the same
He's talking about the chat. He's talking about the chat.
I'm talking about, everybody up here.
Also, you guys have not even let me talk about Trey Murphy. I would obviously love Trey Murphy, and I don't think that I'm necessarily sold on one or the other more than the other because I know what KD can bring. But yeah, Trey Murphy and the value he can bring over multiple years, and him as the 2 or 3 on this team, he can shoot, he can create his own shot. Like, that is very attractive to me. He's a very good defender as well. I like him a lot as a player. I don't know if that is what Trajan Langdon is going to want. I think that KD is very attractive to the Pistons.
Let me push back on 2 or 3 things that you said about KD, and I'll agree with one. I'll start with the pushback, and then I'll show you where I agree. Pushback 1, everybody always wants to make it about, since KD has left Golden State, what has he done? All right, hear me out on this. What has Brooklyn done as an organization since the last time they played in the NBA Finals?
Clippers East.
Okay, 100%. So is that KD or is that an organization? Oh, and by the way, he took that organization to the Eastern Conference Finals. Got him to Game 7 and put his foot on the line. If his foot's not on the line, he's in the finals. So that's one. He took that franchise that has not done anything in 25 years. They made it to the finals. Where's the other franchise? The Phoenix Suns? What has that franchise done, with the exception of the 1 year with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and Booker? He somehow got lucky enough to play against Giannis. What has that organization been? What has the Houston Rockets organization been since James Harden has left? There are 3 organizations that have not a lot to show for him, so it's not like he went to organizations that we associate with winning.
But I thought he was that piece that was going to take him over because he's Kevin Durant.
He is a piece, but
that's what we're viewing him here to be.
Okay, when James Harden wants to be fat and doesn't play but 20% of the year, when Kyrie Irving doesn't play because COVID,
situation too,
and they still went to the finals.
Yes.
So Bradley Beal and having to wait for him to get together for the Phoenix Suns. I give you credit to some of that. Where I will give the agreement with you is the cancer in the locker room as it relates to the Bernie accounts and all the other things. I don't know if for me that's enough to deter me from wanting him, because when he gets on that court, all this man cares about is basketball and his burner accounts. But the burner account aspect, the other 11 in the locker room, I can give you some understanding to that and not wanting to bust up what they have. I don't think it'll happen, but if that's what you're worried about, I'm cool with that. I understand
to clarify, he went to the second round in 2021 and lost to the Bucks.
All right.
4-2. So he has not been to the conference finals.
It was Trae Young. That was right. It was the Hawks. The Hawks snuck to the Eastern Conference Finals.
KD's lore is bigger now than what he brings to your team. Now, if you can get it done cheap for 1 year, great. But all these people giving me a hard time, I don't care about the late round picks. You got to get something back for him. In his scenario, Brays, where he asked me, what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is you don't make the Eastern Conference Finals, and he wants to leave. You have to figure out a sign and trade. You try and recoup anything you can, and most likely you're getting back similar picks to what you gave up, and you're right back at the drawing board saying, what do we use these picks to acquire? For me, I don't think this is the right fit. I think Piston fans need a little patience. Let Trajan continue to cook and let a couple more disgruntled names hit the trade block come February.
All right, look, let's put a pin in for right now. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, I want to bring up some individuals that I've been working with for about the last 2 months, and we got something cooking for you as it relates to one of my favorite sports, and it ain't football. But before we get to that, we'll get a quick commercial break in from Supreme Lending, if you will, Anson.
Hey, listen, Chad and Chris, they are partners over at Supreme Lending, and they are supreme, and it's perfect time.
Wait, hold on, Anson, do y'all, though? I don't know where.
Hey, also supreme in their industry for over 30 years. Talking about the Aldo Eye Center, whether it's Rip Hamilton or us telling you, people have been going to them, and they have over 100,000 successful procedures. We're talking about LASIK, an 8-minute procedure, painless, and the majority of everyone who goes through it, the next day they're seeing 20. So whether you've got terrible eyesight or just need a little bit of help, doesn't matter what your prescription is, $16.99 per eye. That's the summer deal that we partnered up with Yaldo to offer to you. So get on the horn, 248-553-9800, or visit them at yaldoeyecenter.com to learn more about it. Invest in your eyes, invest in yourself with Yaldo Eye Center.
The The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that.
Don't just survive, thrive.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Justice Towel here with Massage Chair House, and look, if you're looking to upgrade your relaxation game, there is no better place in the great state of Pure Michigan than Massage Chair House, the largest showroom in the Midwest. Tap into the QR code above my head, and you will be taken to their website where you can explore all the great massage chairs, and you can check out the Dr. Eric Duncan on YouTube, the Wellness Doc, to check out all of his latest stock.
All right, welcome back to the Braylon Edwards Show here on Woodward Sports 2.0. Now, scoot over a little bit, Max, if you will. Jump into the shot. There we go. Act like we like each other over here, man. Let's get nice and cozy, if you will. You guys know my affinity for golf. You know my love for golf. When I'm not here, I'm there. Well, now I'm trying to merge the worlds together, and the individual that can help me do that is none other than one of my good friends, Tim Stein, over at LaFontaine Automotive Group. Glad to have you in the studio.
Always good to be here.
And we have been working on something for a very long time. We're very excited about it. But it's Tim's baby. It's Tim's project, so I will let Tim take the reins from here.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. I got my main man, Max Muncy. He's with the LaFontaine Group. He's a little bit bigger than a PR guy, but Max, just introduce yourself real quick as well.
Super excited. Appreciate the platform to be here. Tim came to us with a great idea, and I think it took about 5 minutes of thinking about it and said, let's make this happen. Lifelong golfer myself, so Braylon, your point, bringing the two worlds together, I think we're super excited to help support this launch and ready for it.
Yeah, we can't wait. It is a long time in the making, and Braylon and I met a few years back at some golf events. We were doing a celebrity golf event. I think the first one might have been Darren McCarty's outing.
It was.
Not mistaken.
Shout out to D-Mac, man, our brother here in the grind line. Yeah,
exactly.
His outing is actually coming up.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait to see him again. But we decided, the YouTube golf world has become a major social media platform, and you and I just had so much fun out there. We did the Ally events. We did, you guys were out there for 4 straight days. We're back out there again, and we just decided after being out there and seeing all the following we were getting to start up First in Fairway. And that is our YouTube golf channel. We're going to hopefully get the QR code up there and all that good stuff, but we're going to make sure everybody knows about it. And this is really our official launch. We started about, I'd say 40 days ago with you and I just saying, hey, how are we going to do it all? And away we went, and now we're going.
There's a QR code right there.
So just like and subscribe. We got a couple things we're going to talk about with that code. If you subscribe and some of our VIP golf experiences. But I really wanted to talk more about the series that's really going to, get us to the top on this, and that's the Breakin' 90 with Braylon series.
So we'll talk about that. The thing for me and why it was important for me to do this is, me playing golf. I got into golf when I really, went to Michigan, got into golf in the NFL. You're playing the outings, you're playing the ESPN, the ESPYs, you're playing all the outings around here. And it goes from there. I'm really the only one of my friends that's playing. Like, I'm the only one of my friends that's playing in 2005 and 2007.
Right.
And slowly I'm trying to get my friends to come over here. Nah, I don't want to play there. Nah, it's kind of stuffy. You can't do this, you can't do this. Well, with the boom that is golf now, with the way that golf is more social, with the way that you can have, for lack of a better word, you got drinks on the course, there's cannabis on the course, there's music on the course. It's not as stuffy. It's let go. And now people are engaging in golf. The content is out there. You see LeBrons of the world golfing, and Steph Curry kind of made golf fun, if you will, and how great he is as a pro basketball player / golfer. So I think now was the perfect time. And when you came to me, we've really been hammering this thing out for about the last 4 years, because now is the time where we can engage with everybody, not just a certain type of individual.
Right, and of course it works with having great partners, and obviously Woodward, we talk with you guys now, and they're all on board on making First and Fairway, at least get some good golf content out of it. And we got some sponsors with LaFontaine Auto Group, who's been, I can't ask for a better partner. They've been so supportive of what you and I want to do, and they see the benefits and the value of, I am a salesman, I sell cars, and I want to have a platform that gets us to 1,000 cars, and I know you have your own aspirations with this as well, so so we're ready for that as well.
And the best thing about it too is now that everybody's playing golf, now it's time to be a better golfer. Hence how Breakin' 90 with Braylon was started, wanting to be a better version of myself, wanting to, when I get out to Spring Meadows and I play, I want to look like the player that Tim thinks I am. So now we are Breakin' 90. Talk about the Breakin' 90 series and what we want to do.
Yeah, so, you see a lot of this out there on YouTube Golf. YouTube Golf is not just about being on the golf course. It's about, sponsors and business and corporate and friendship and everything about it. And I know you're taking golf a lot more serious, and I played a lot of golf with you, and I have yet to see actually break 90. And now you're really taking it serious, not touching the ball, not moving it. We've all done that. Hit 2 balls off the first tee. We had our first one.
No breakfast ball?
No
breakfast ball?
No breakfast ball.
But see, breakfast ball only works on the first hole. Like, I was using breakfast ball in like every hole.
Hole 13, you're like, it's time for a breakfast ball.
Well, I didn't really use the breakfast ball in the beginning, so here we go.
That's right. Well, he hasn't used it at all now. And our first one, the content's coming. We're doing some editing on it. But what did you shoot? Do you remember?
Remember I shot 96 or 95?
97 was the official score.
97. Had a couple opportunities in there where I probably could have got it down to 94. But you know what? It was under 100 the first time.
It was.
Progress.
I actually thought he comes out on the first hole and he hits a really nice drive, puts this 9-iron over 2 trees right on the greens, got a 20-foot birdie putt, and I said, Braylon, we can't break 90 on the first show. And
I must have listened too well.
Yeah.
Well, right to the head, right? The wisdom part of the golf game came through there.
That might have been done on purpose. I don't know yet. So in addition, we're obviously going to be out there probably once a month trying to break it. And if you break 90, we're just going to go to breaking 85 and then breaking 80 until we'll get you on some of these YouTube golf tours that are starting out. Dave Portnoy, Internet Invitational, we're coming, baby.
What's the next thing that we have planned for the Breakin' 90 and also the First and Fairway? There are a couple outings coming up. How can people see us? How can people come out? Where they can view us? Because I know the DMAC outing is August 10th?
August 14th for the DMAC outing. We will definitely be in on that one. And it's a great question because we have, actually, even for today, we need people to subscribe. It doesn't work without having some following and people liking our shorts and our videos.
Shout out B-Lad.
Oh, look at
you
that.
remember B-Lad? B-Lad was there. Yeah. Put shape on that thing. I see you out there, B-Lad, making it happen.
I mean, most importantly, Braylon, you got to look good to golf good too. So you got the fit down.
Now
oh my God, this guy.
I'm a man from Detroit, man. Now the look will be there. I'm gonna make sure that I look good because I feel good, and if I feel good, I might just play good.
That's how I try to show up every time when I golf. At least look the part, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's a question that most golfers ask, or most novices trying to get into the game.
Yeah.
Do clubs matter? Is it a certain level of club that matters? Is it the high-end clubs? Is it the lower clubs? Like, is it the TaylorMades? Is it the Titleist? Is it the Ping, Callaways, Cleveland? Or can you get away with some other clubs if your game is right?
Well, in my opinion, for the channel, let's take that, as in you and me.
Yeah.
we're going to go with the manufacturers that want to,
See?
partner up with the program and give us some really nice clubs. But in reality, yes, getting fitted. I know we went down to PXG and we enjoyed some time with them, and we're talking with them about getting you some clubs. And I've been a PXG guy forever, and I love them. Their technology's gotten better, but you need to get fitted. You got to have a club that fits your swing. And now the pros, really, the teaching pros, they're trying to teach golf around your swing and not changing your swing and getting clubs that fit your swing.
Max, where is the state of golf at right now for you? Like in terms of just being a watcher, a viewer, where is the state of golf? There is no more Tiger. Seems like Scotty Scheffler is doing a little up and down, but where is the state of golf?
I mean, I think there's still so much excitement around it. I think people that were casually watching what was happening with Liv, right, tuned in more because they liked the little controversy.
Yeah.
What's happening, right? I mean, my personal opinion is I want to see the Liv golfers back on the PGA in one big setting and format. It was interesting this past weekend watching John Deere over the 4th.
Yeah.
I didn't know the first screen of the page of the names. I think, but that's a
who the hell is Coles?
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell is them Coles? I love seeing younger players coming up and names that you don't know. I think First Swing on Netflix was huge for getting people out there and creating that awareness, similar to like what it did for F1 racing, right? I think you're getting more people coming in. I know in my friend group, you've got the guys that have played for a long time in high school, and now we're starting to get other buddies coming back into the game that are like, wait, I've missed out for this long. And in my opinion is my dad's 73, plays golf. We talk about this.
Yeah.
My dad plays 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's the dream.
But golf, I think, is one of the sports that you can play for your whole life. Yeah. Regardless of talent, right, and physical, you can play golf. And I think the setting, being out there on the course, I think it continues to grow and grow. I have 2 young daughters at home, 8 and 10. They were just at a week-long golf camp. They're excited about it.
Ages, man.
Yeah,
certainly,
never ends.
I feel like it just creates more momentum. Even without a Tiger, I think getting a lot of these new names out there, and I think all of them have their own social media channels. So I think people casually might see it on Instagram, see it online, and then you tune in maybe to that Sunday afternoon to see your guy.
Yeah, I saw that guy,
Yep.
And you can get in any time. I mean, you can be 60 years old and take up golf and still improve and enjoy yourself out there. So it's a great game.
One of the guys that plays with my dad, he's 88 years old.
Yeah.
My stepfather wouldn't like that I'm saying this on air, but he just celebrated a birthday. I won't tell you how old he is. Just know that he was 60 when I got him into the golf game, and that was 20 years ago. So when you say you can get in at any time, and he hits it down the middle, he has all his wits about him. His second shot, his approach shot, Dad can put the ball where he wants to be on that approach shot, man. But he got in the game at 60 and fell in love with it. Before we let you guys get out of here, talk to us. What's new over at LaFontaine? Tell the individuals about where they can go, where they can get these cars. Because Highland, I love going over there. That showroom on both sides, man, it's epic. And the things that LaFontaine are doing right now, like very soon, I'll be representing in a different way. But talk to me about LaFontaine, man.
No, super blessed and fortunate to work for the LaFontaine family, right? Ryan LaFontaine, our CEO, took over when we
great guy,
had 2
by the way.
dealerships.
Great guy.
We're 46 now, right? The growth has been tremendous. I've been fortunate to be at the group now coming on 8 years. We had 15 stores when I started. I should be way thinner for how fast Ryan makes us sprint and run every day. Super excited now. We've expanded our presence out on the west side of the state, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo area. Big presence in mid-Michigan, that Lansing market. Continuing to grow, continuing to take care of our customers, and bringing more brands into the portfolio to really round that out. So from the high-end luxury with Aston Martin and the LaFontaine Vault, down to Mitsubishi and Honda and Toyota, and then everything in between, right? I think that's what we want to do. We have a household name that's trusted in our community. We stand behind our commitment to our customers, our local communities, and really looking to break the mold. I don't think anybody enjoys, going into a dealership.
Yeah.
You're excited to go and get that new vehicle, but that whole process, I think, is daunting and it's confusing to people. And our job at LaFontaine and through Ryan and his vision is to break down those barriers. Make this be transparent. Make it easy. I know you mentioned heading out to Highland. Good news is we'll come to you, right? You can literally go to FamilyDeal.com.
Tim didn't tell me that.
Oh,
you got me coming out there.
I need you in the store, though. I need you in the store.
We'll bring the cars out to you, right? At any given time, 14,000 cars available across FamilyDeal.com. More brand. I can count the amount of brands we don't sell on one hand versus how many we do sell.
I've only found 2 so far.
That's right, but it's guys like Tim that come on board that become part of our LaFontaine family. Braylon coming on board with us here too. We get super excited about this type of stuff. Work is work. I certainly love doing that every single day, but it's exciting partnerships like this that can bring more people into our family, our fold, and have a lot of fun doing it is really what gets me super fired up for this.
Yeah, and you can always reach us. You can call me anytime. Obviously, you can get with Braylon if you're a fan of Braylon, but we'll come right to your home. We'll bring cars to the house. It doesn't matter. We'll do whatever we need to do to help out our customers.
My boy tells me all the time that he's more famous than me. Like, please don't give him anything to make it go to his head.
It's true. So,
This guy right here.
just I know we got to get rolling, but just a couple things coming up that we want everybody to be involved with. Obviously, Breaking 90 with Braylon. We're gonna have fun with that. We have D-Max out coming.
Link in the chat for everyone to go check it out.
Appreciate you.
Perfect. Thank you. August 14th, we have D-Max outing. We have the Applied Innovation outing on the 10th of August. That's a great cause for the kids. We're going to be in that. We actually have, I think, Max and Paul out there for that. Paul's going to be joining us.
Shout out to my guy Paul.
And then the two
Jordan.
things I really want everybody to get excited about is we do a VIP golf experience. We're going to pick one winner of all of our subscribers, and they're going to take on 4 of us. He or she can bring 3 of their friends. We'll pick them up in the party bus. We have 5 clubs we can go to. They can pick it. You've been in one of these VIP golf experiences. How was that?
I had a good time. We did it up at
that was my fault.
We did, but we had a good time, man. It was indoors at Howe. I want to say
we did the indoor at Tap-Ins. It was great. But we'll pick you up. We'll feed you. We'll go to the courses. We're going to video the whole thing. We're going to give you a montage at the end that you can have forever. And you're going to play with some pretty well-known athletes in that event, too. They got to go up against us, including the difference.
You know what I love about this is, this is the start of something. Wait till you see First and Fairway in 6 months. Wait till you see First and Fairway in a year. Wait till you see the partnership that develops between LaFontaine and Woodward Sports. It's going to be something special, and you got a chance to see it first here on the Braylon Edwards Show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Tim, Max,
subscribe.
Appreciate
we need
you guys.
everybody.
We will
Thank
subscribe.
you, B-Money. I appreciate you.
We'll get a quick. Actually, let's just go to. I'll do Art and Jake's. And we'll come back, and we will get you some more information. Art and Jake's, 80 TVs, wall-to-wall, excitement, entertainment. You know what it is. You know we were out there a week ago for the Detroit Tigers versus the New York Yankees. You saw the engagement. You see every time we show up to Art and Jake's, it's a blast. It's fun. We did it during Final Four as well. It's the place for you. Also, check that menu out. It's a menu that will surprise you. Scan that QR code to my right. If you will, scan that QR code. Check that menu out because it's got some things on there that are really good. Speaking of menus, what about 22 beers on tap? That's what Art and Jake's host, man, and that's what they brag. And they brag for a good reason, because it is legit. Pull up on any Art and Jake's around the state. They're all around you. And when you do, tell them Woodward Sports sent you. I guarantee you get a smile.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Experience summer in Detroit with pro soccer at Keyworth Stadium. Every Detroit City FC match brings a new reason to show up early and stay late. Tickets available now at DebtCityFC.com.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that.
Don't just survive, thrive.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
What up, though? It's your boy B-Lad, and I'm here to tell you about Thrive. Most people think energy comes in a 16-ounce can full of sugar, non-colored liquid, but you know better. It's time to upgrade your game with Thrive energy pouches. This ain't your daddy's dip cam. This is a tobacco-free, nicotine-free mental powerhouse packing 300 milligrams of clean, smart caffeine. No jitters, no sugar crash, and absolutely zero bloating. Thrive can be found at dipstop.com. Remember to use promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order and exclusively at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. Thrive, clean energy, zero distractions, and they just flippin' work, y'all.
Hey guys, I've started to tell you about Supreme Lending, but I gotta hammer it down because Chris and Chad are amazing at what they do, and it is home buying season. You're upgrading, maybe downgrading, the kids went off to school, graduated, and they're gone. Maybe it's your first home, or you just want a better mortgage. Call them early in the process because you can improve your standing by the time you get to closing. That means a better interest rate, better term, maybe a 0% down payment program. For sure, though, when you mention Woodward Sports, we're going to save you up to $500 off of your home appraisal, guys. You see the numbers there, Chad, 248-379-5214, or get in touch with Chris at 720-508-0621. They are supreme. They are Supreme Lending.
What's the word, man? How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Switch it up for a second, man. Sorry to sub you out, with the golf idea, but excited about that project. I've been working with Tim for a while now on that golf project, man, and now we're really ready to get that thing launched out there and break 90. Everybody's always got jokes, but there will be no more jokes, ladies and gentlemen, because I am coming to play. You know what I hope comes to play this year, Justin? I hope that it's the Detroit Lions offense, spearheaded by Drew Petzing, new offensive coordinator. I know it's the gift that keeps on giving, but interesting article came out about Solik. Brent Solik wrote an article, and what he was talking about was Drew Petzing in terms of where he's been and what that offense has looked like for the Arizona Cardinals as it relates to the running game over the past years. You look at the success of what their running game was with the lack of running backs, with the injuries that they've had to Connors and all their different running backs. Starting to come around on what Petzing can be in this offense as it relates to the 13 personnel, Jahmyr Gibbs, having him. You look at what their offense was. Where's these numbers that I had as I talk about a little bit? Excuse me. They're running over there.
I think one of the things that you have to be careful of as you dig those numbers out is sentencing this guy to his track record with a very bad franchise.
And that's what I was bringing up. You look at what the Lions were last year. The Lions last year in terms of yards had it somewhere. Basically, the Lions scored 21 touchdowns last year. Rushing, they had, I want to say, 2,000 yards. When you look at throwing, they averaged 4.6 yards per carry. You look at the Arizona Cardinals 2 years ago, 2,400 yards, 18 touchdowns. They 5.3 yards per carry. Were James Conner, Trey Benson, and Demar DeRozan, Michael Carter, were they better than David Montgomery? Were they better than Jahmyr Gibbs?
Conner on his last leg, a bunch of journeymen, young guys.
Quarterback.
I love Trey Benson, but still, man, not a big talent room, but they got a lot of production from him.
Yeah, 100%. The same thing last year, 1,500 yards, and just the ever open door of running backs that they played with last year. But when you look at the competence, I'm starting to see why they went after him. And then you look at his roots. You look at where he comes from. Drew Petzing, he coached under Norv Turner. Like, I remember playing for Norv Turner in the Pro Bowl. Norv Turner is one of those guys that brought that offense to a young Drew Brees when he was with the Chargers. And you look at what Phillip Rivers was able to do. LaDainian Tomlinson, a lot of you guys love him and what he was able to do, 34 touchdowns. Like, that's the type of system in which he grew up in. And also, too, Kyle Shanahan, he played under him. And then he also coached with Clint Kubiak. And you saw what Clint Kubiak was able to do with that Seattle Seahawk with that offense. So this is just kind of where he comes from. This is the tree and this is the space. Start to look at that and what he could look for the Lions. The offensive line for the Lions is going to be much better than the Arizona Cardinals' offensive line is going to be. That backfield is going to be much better than the backfield that the Arizona Cardinals had last year. Maybe there's a lot more to Drew Petzing.
I mean, I kind of compare it to jogging and working out with ankle and wrist weights. And then when you take them off, man, do you fly. Yeah. Because this guy was dragged down by a bad franchise, by bad quarterback play, by inconsistency from all of his
you don't like Josh
offensive
Rosen?
weapon.
No, I'm joking.
And then you look at Marvin Harrison. This is a guy that just quite couldn't put it together. You bring him to a team with a whole bunch of future Hall of Famers, as we've talked about. And this has to be the breath of fresh air, the reprieve that Petzing has been looking for. These guys saw something in him despite the record of the Cardinals. And I believe that him coming here, he's going to have all those toys. But I think you got to look at something different. We've gone back and forth. Are they going to extend Jahmyr Gibbs? Are they going to extend Laporta? They're going to extend both. Because James Conner, on the wrong side of 30, was extended by that offensive mind, basically. And then Trey McBride, same deal. So if you're coming here and you're Petzing and you look at these two toys, two major parts of what you plan to do as an offensive coordinator, you're not going to let them go.
D-Lad, let me ask you this question. Does it bother you when you look at the heavy run total that was the Arizona Cardinals offense, was the load that they had to shoulder? And when you look at their Amari DiMercado, injured. Michael Carter, injured. Zonovan Bam Knight, injured. Trey Benson, injured.
Yeah.
James Conner, injured. The year before that, Michael Carter, injured. Tony Jones, injured. James Conner, injured yet again. That workload that they carry, it does something to those running backs, and James Conner is a much bigger running back than Jahmyr Gibbs. Do you worry about what Drew Petzing is bringing, or do you not, because it's a different system, different team?
Yeah. To your point, that definitely is concerning, because what do we talk about all the time when it comes to extending Jahmyr Gibbs?
Injury, the potential for it.
Running backs' last 2,000 carries of their career is not the same as their first. And the workload that they have, if you're the bell cow, it is concerning. Now, the one thing that brings some light and that takes the worry away from me is they have another head in the room in Mike Kafka for the passing game. I also do think the Lions have a tougher backfield, a more experienced backfield. Obviously, James Conner was experienced, but everyone below him wasn't. And
he's a bruiser, though. Like, James Conner's a guy who's looking for contact.
Amari DiMercado was a second year last year. He was a rookie. Bam McKnight hasn't really seen the field all that much. Hasn't really gotten the touches. So that definitely weighs in on their injuries. Isaiah Pacheco, obviously, he runs harder than anybody else in the league. So he's used to seeing stuff like this. He was obviously RB1 in Kansas City. But like I said, having another head in the room with Mike Kafka being the pass game coordinator, and like I said, I feel like I've said this multiple times, I believe, the Lions know that running backs can die out, and once you extend them. And
they hate guys over 30 too.
Well, yes,
unless you're
right.
Jared Goff.
Right. But at the same time, a little bit of a different scenario. Jared Goff's kind of having it's kind of like a Matthew Stafford type career in a way where his 30s are just as good as his 20s. Drew Brees, same deal. But I'm not necessarily worried on the fact that I know they said Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the bell cow, but I just feel like that just means that they're going to run the ball more, but I still feel like they're going to have a decent amount of carry share. It's not going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs he'll be getting the same amount of touches, but they're just going to be running the ball more often. And they're going to be putting different schemes into place to, put it and mix it up as best as possible. I feel like it's going to be a very split backfield like it was with Montgomery.
Yeah, I think to your point, definitely Mike Kafka is brought in so that you keep balance, you keep peace between the running game and the passing game. JS, where are you with Drew Petzing? And a lot came out when he first got here. He's with the Cardinals. We don't like anything that comes from the Cardinals, this, that, and the third. Now that you've had 3 months to sell into it, articles have come out. You've seen Dan Campbell. You heard what he's had to say about the guy, et cetera, et cetera. This might be a situation where maybe we're getting a better coach than we thought, or are you still we'll see?
I still want to see it. I do see the potential. I mean, it's on the tape. He does have a very intriguing running scheme, and this will be the best plethora of talent that he has ever worked with in the NFL. And I don't think that you can judge a man on how he performs with the talent that he had in Arizona. So I'm just really intrigued to see. And what we saw last year, the clunkiness of it in the beginning when we had John Morton at the start of the season, it was just so clunky, it was so slow, it was out of sync. Right. I'm curious to see, and especially with them talking about playing starters in the preseason, even just seeing a slight smoothness to the offense. and seeing where the ball can get rolling and where this offense could be, because I think that there was not a point where that offense was living up to potential the entire year last year.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And I like the fact that they're getting into it early. You know, we've talked about it for the last 3-4 years. You know, Detroit Lions, because of what they don't do in preseason, they start the season a little bit on. They're struggling. They're figuring it out. They're trying to get into that rhythm, trying to get into that fluidity. Playing in the preseason, just from my experience as a player, like I've been on teams where I didn't play one snap. And I've been the majority of teams where I was out there and we played. You just get into a rhythm. You get used to, you know, like everything being timed, from the locker room to when the game starts to the first snap, the huddle, going down on drives, getting hit, like all those things. Like you get into that rhythm so that when that week one comes, like outside of being tired from training camp, which they aren't anymore because they don't go back to backs like we used to, you're ready to rock and roll. Like not trying to figure out in overtime against the Rams at home, like, oh, okay. That's how this goes. That's how we do this.
Yeah. Being on the desk 5 days a week, it's reps. Being all over the place, filling in for people at this network for years, different shows, trying to figure out the different jokes and things like that. It was very difficult to get into a rhythm. Being on this show every day for the last 2 months with all you, it's amazing. It does so much, not just for your body understanding where you need to be and getting that rhythm, but just getting the reps that give you the confidence and comfort to know what's expected and to deliver when it's asked of you. So
that's well said.
And the fact that these guys are going to play in the preseason games we've been talking about, you've seen them come out flat in either the first or second game every single year. This team continues to open up 500 through the first 2 weeks. So that rhythm that you talk about, they need to establish.
Let me ask you this, B-Lad. I know you wanted to say something. I'm just piggybacking off that. The Lions versus Green Bay last year, opening game in Lambeau Field, we saw how that ended. That was the beginning of the end, looking at the offensive line. With that being said, how does that Lions team look if they play in preseason?
Yeah, and that's like, you know this better than anybody else, and I can definitely relate. They're playing, in the preseason, they're playing against somebody else. Yeah. They're not seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And to your point, it adds rhythm. And obviously, you know that better than anybody else. You did it, Braylon. And the thing is that first game versus Green Bay was their preseason game. Like, that was the game where the starters, that was their first time going up against an opponent. And getting those real-life reps means a lot, especially in the whole flow and the operation of the offense. But what I like most about this is Dan Campbell recognizes that. The whole coaching staff recognizes that, and he's changing it. That means he's putting an effort into trying to get different results and to ultimately win. Obviously, we know Dan Campbell is trying his ass off to win. This is one thing that is you don't see a lot of NFL teams doing, but they see a lot of NFL teams struggling with. There's a lot of good NFL teams that struggle in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are risks that come to that. Obviously, football is becoming so injury prone. Who knows how long it's going to last in the future. But this is something that they recognize, a pattern in how good teams operate, and they're going to change the way that they have done things to make a better effort to win. And I know guys that, like Jared Goff, for example, like being a quarterback in the NFL, seeing and reading a different defense early will change so much about how he approaches the regular season, because he's already seen different defenses. Now, if you're going up against your own defense, you're going up against usually the scout team, who obviously is the scout team, but they are mimicking another team's defense, and it's just not the same at all. If you see another team's defense at full strength, it's going to be obviously hard right away. And that's something that we saw get exposed against Green Bay week 1, and that was that was their preseason game. You got to shake the rust off. You got to know that this is going to be the most challenging thing ever, because this is the first time they're going to be in that moment for that season.
Yeah, 100%, man. Look, we got one last bill to play. We'll come back and we will wrap this show up. With that being said, though, I want to preview the show for tomorrow. We're going to stick with some Lions talk tomorrow, but it's going to surround training camp, because what we'll talk about, well, I'll tell you when we get back. First, let's get a message in from Pure Psychology.
Guys, it's time to take care of yourselves. You come here to forget about everything, because talking sports is real easy, but all of us men, we've got stuff that we need to get out of here and here. And we partnered up with Pure Psych because they make it very easy and very accessible and very comfortable to do exactly that. PTSD, anxiety, relationship issues, they are there for you to get the ball rolling with counseling, all right? They're not cookie cutter. They're going to tailor a program specifically for you and to get you on the road to wellness today. They're throughout Michigan. They got a couple more spots in northern Ohio. So again, it's very, very accessible. You can find out how and where at PurePsychMI.com.
And when you are looking for something that is also very accessible, that is marijuana in the great state of Michigan, and the best dealer in the game is Mad Packs. Mad Packs has the Boom Shakalaka and High-Low pre-roll. Both are top-of-the-line pre-rolls on the market, live resin infused with keef on the outside. So make sure you tap in with Mad Packs at your local dispensary today.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions. Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
80 years. It's not been a secret here for 80 years. The best pizza in the world is Detroit style deep dish. The original, created by Buddy's Pizza, 1946. But that secret's out, man. It is sweeping the nation. Everyone loves themselves some Detroit style deep dish, and we want to save you 20% off your next order. Head on over to Buddy'sPizza.com and enter in that Woodward 20. They're going to save you up to 20% off your order. Actually, fully 20%, but on the catering, it's going to save you up to $200 off. So if you want a pizza party, when you head on over to Buddy'sPizza.com, check out their catering section and use that code. They are Buddies. They are the original.
Fun show today. I know we went off the rails a little bit with First Nation early on, but whenever they come in, Fresh Nation, always love talking to them because they are the future. So it's interesting to get a beat on them now, see what they're thinking, and also give them access to spaces like this because it will help their career tremendously. And then also, too, shout out to Tim Stein as well as Max Muncy coming in for LaFontaine. Like, you don't believe it. That LaFontaine partnership is going to be a big one here in this network in the months to come, and football season is around the corner. Tomorrow we will talk about the Lions more. Here we go. Everybody has a homework assignment in here. Check this out. I want you to give me three first to second year players. See you fellas later. 3 first to second year players that are going to show how to camp. And you got to give me reasons why. Give me some reasons. Give me some facts. Give me some data. Whatever you've been tracking, whatever you've been watching the last couple weeks, last couple months. And then also, give me 3 guys that will not be here. Names that you all know. I'll give you one for an example. Giovanni Manu. Might be a name that you might want to throw on that list. Talk about that and why they may not be here. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about what camp will look like in 2.5 weeks. Now, I don't know if this was last night or if this was over the weekend. There was an interesting incident that happened at Comerica Park with the Detroit Tigers. Did you see the shirt? Did you see what happened? And did you see what the result was? Well, there was a young woman wearing a shirt, and that shirt said Jesus over pride. That lady was escorted out of Comerica Park, as you see right here on the backdrop. Now, did I get the story right, Anson? Did I get it right? She was wearing the Jesus over pride and wasn't causing a commotion. She wasn't protesting, wasn't yelling or fighting or any of that. Somebody made attention to it, and then, as you see, Comerica security, looks like Miguel was Cabrera's son, and I had a good one for him, but I can't remember.
I don't have the official date on this, but I believe that it happened the last day of June, which is a certain month. And the fact is that pride is considered a sin in the Bible, period.
Yes.
Okay? So there is a double entendre with this shirt, But we've talked about it here, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but Christianity is under attack in this country.
100%.
Period. Across the world. And if we're not going to have religious persecution, you can't take somebody out for this. Now, I get somebody might be offended, but if you don't understand what this is truly saying, then you're going to jump to the conclusion that it's saying something else. I don't want to say it, but pride is not written in a rainbow right there, okay? So what this represents to this woman may not be what it represents to somebody who's offended. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, this is religious persecution.
I agree. I agree in all forms and facets. Look, Jesus is the way for me. May not be the way for you, but my faith is my faith and my belief is my belief. I don't think one should be persecuted because of that. Like, whether this was talking about the sin, pride, or whether it was talking about the other sins of pride, why do I have to be escorted out of a public ball? Well, I guess it's not. Yeah, it is public in a sense. But why do I have to be escorted out of a public ballpark because of my belief?
Because someone cried.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, so how you feel about something is more important than how I feel about something?
Yes. Yes. Welcome to 2026.
I thought this was crazy. I saw that and I just absolutely said, like, so I can openly support one thing, but I can't openly support, my belief.
Middle-aged sneaker chick.
The father.
If she's in handcuffs, it was more than the shirt. Now, I don't know.
And that's why we asked, yeah.
But listen, to your point, sneaker chick, why is she in handcuffs?
Yeah. And that's the question.
For a sweatshirt. Not one with anything, with the F-bomb. There are no titties on that shirt. She's in handcuffs. Double D in the background. Shout out Kool-Aid.
Double D in the building.
He yells Double D from the background. The greatest incidental.
Speaking of double entendres, that's another double entendre, because you mentioned one thing and he says another. So see, there you go, double entendre. But I just thought it was interesting. You know what I'm saying? You know how I feel about my faith. You know where I'm at with it. I didn't like the fact that this was happening in your own ball club. Like, this is downtown. This is down the street. And you hope that there's more to the story. You hope that there's something along the lines of, I get it. She just happened to have that shirt on. But 2026, man, you look on social media and things like this, they're all around. So.
One woman, two cops.
Yeah. Technically, security. Where's they ain't got no guns. But she's in handcuffs.
One woman, two cops.
I had to let it go. Great work out of you guys today, man. It was a hell of a show out of you. There was a lot of moving parts today, but everybody stayed locked in. JS, appreciate you, my right hand. B last, Sweet Potato Cam. Good work out of you guys over there as well. And then Anson, always, you know what you mean to the show and this network. A lot of fun here. Good to see you guys two going back and forth.
That's my guy, man.
True.
That's
my
guy.
Sure.
But it was good stuff.
It was good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Get ready for some more of that tomorrow, man.
I just think there's so much overflow from the frustration with the other three franchises.
That Trajan's catching.
And he is. And my man's been here for 2 years. We just literally opened up the trades yesterday. Yeah. Give him a week, and then give him till February if you're not happy.
I will say this, though, man. Like, to his point, calm down a little bit. Give him a little bit of time. But don't calm down too much, because this is we live in a time where you can get great quick. I ain't say good.
Yeah.
We live in a time where you can get great quick. We live in a time where you can strike quick. If you look at the last two champions as it relates to basketball and football, nobody had any idea that they were going to win before the season started. So I think that attributes to people's angst. That attributes to the anxiety, like, okay, because they see that this happened. They're like, who the hell are the Seahawks? Well, the Super Bowl champs. Who? The Knicks? Nah, they're beneath. Well, they win the championship. So we live in an era where it can happen fast, and I think everybody in the chat's like, want to see it.
I'm going to double down on something I said last week that surprised you, though. You better make a move by the deadline. Do not wait until next off-season, Trajan.
See you tomorrow.